Interest waned somewhat over the next weeks, especially as the protests went nationwide. The intention was to keep holding demonstrations until the bell was closed. For a brief while following the victory of the August 19th court decision, it seemed that aim had been achieved. On the day the removal injunction was revoked, locals hit the streets in numbers once more, as they well might. There were a handful of arrests and charges for alleged violence. The protest on Sunday was even bigger, and there was a headline-grabbing incident whereby another Reform candidate was arrested after waving a Union flag from the council office steps. Police claimed there was a Section 14 restriction on the protest, meaning the building was out of bounds. She had been handcuffed, manhandled, and arrested for breaking this. Quite why none of the other protesters were arrested for being near the building, I don't know. The aforementioned Callum Barker was also pinched, accused of inciting racial hatred. Mysteriously, police say this is because on the previous Friday, an emblem was reported to have been set alight. Don't know what that's all about. Suffice to say, this more aggressive policing, combined with the legal setback, has fostered a distinct perception of injustice, already well primed. It does not bode well. As I said before, the legal situation could still go either way. If the bell is closed, which it still may be, the protests will dry up entirely. If not, then to quote the one-hit wonder of Bachman-Turner Overdrive, you ain't seen nothing yet. If the bell is allowed to continue housing migrants long-term, it will almost certainly be received with fury. Of course, the Home Office may use other hotels in the district, but the council will be wise to this. If it happens, residents must focus on protesting the one that takes the bell's place. If the challenge is successful, a legal precedent will have been set where if an illegitimate change of use has been proven, these places can be closed down. Yvette Cooper is unlikely to close any hotels just because of protest, but she can't hide from the courts. Such a legal finding replicated around the country would, however, give her something of an off-ramp. She would not have to back down and close the hotels herself. This would send a message of weakness, meaning it would be difficult to keep any of these establishments open. Here, the closures of the most politically contentious hotels can be blamed on judges. It will be interesting, incidentally, to see if any Labour councils attempt such legal actions. Assuming the government doesn't just deport everyone, there are only two ways out of this mess. One is to create more detention centres and move the migrants out of the hotels and into these. That would take time and a great deal of expense. The other is to move more of them into houses of multiple occupancy, HMOs, which is cheaper but riskier from a security point of view. We should be wary of this development. At least in the hotels we know where they are and there is some degree of supervision. Mass use of HMOs would change that. Starmer's returns arrangement with France is unlikely to make this situation go away. In its trial form, only 6% of the arrivals that come will be detained and sent back. For that number, we will receive the same number of migrants direct from an asylum centre in Paris. Supposedly, these will be vetted, but the French will not share any details about them. So these will have to be accommodated, and hotels seem to be the easiest option for the government. On top of this, there are hundreds of thousands that are in the country already, of which a tiny proportion will be deported, even if their claims are denied. Our streets and our communities will continue to suffer from a situation wildly out of control. All we can do within the law is to protest and to vote out any national or local politician who supports these people being insecurely housed among us. We cannot break the law and do violence, because apart from anything, that will invite a crackdown. Despite our rage, we cannot let the nation slide even closer towards anarchy. But we must speak up, loudly and tirelessly. Epping was the first brick in the dam to fall, and there is no way back now. Support your local protest.